Well, good afternoon. It's Friday afternoon, and we have a very special guest today. The one and only the Murph, Lewis Murphy of Wakefield Trinity.
Yeah. All right, I'm happy to be here.
It's a special edition, actually, of Inside the Deal, and obviously there's been a lot of coverage, Lou, lately about you moving across the shores to Australia with the one and only Sydney Roosters.
Yep.
So we've got a chance to talk to you about it, really, and hopefully this comes out and it puts it to bed and everyone can, think it's about. I'll obviously ask you a few questions, but first of all, Wakefield, how's your injury? Tell us about your injury first, Lou, because that's...
Yeah, it's a tough one, pretty much worst one you can do in it with ACL, but just part of the game. Just got to get on with it, really. It's just at least it's at the start of the season, so I have a lot of time to recover, but I wish I could do another solid year for all the Trinity fans, and that does help them out, but it's what it is.
Yeah, because this year, there's so much expected here this year.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm trying to say this in a nice way, but the partnership, you and Corey, everyone were like, well, at least you've got these young, players, and obviously we know what's happened with Corey.
Yeah.
But yourself, and then you start to show some form this year, and then bang, and Wakefield needs you more than ever, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't want to put, obviously it's not all for me, it's part of the team, but I think it would have helped me being out there trying to get some points on board. But
just give people an idea, Lou, first of all, before we talk about the Australia. How long, tell us how you got to Wakefield. Yours is quite you've not a normal rugby league story, are you?
No, I never got picked up by any scholarship or out when I was playing, which always what I wanted. So I just, at the end of, when I was like 16, 17, so fresh out of school, I went to Wakefield College, where obviously MASH was, Mark Applegarth. And there's like a pathway there, so you can go from the college to the academy and see where you can go from there. And I started playing well in college, scoring some tries, MASH invited me down for a trial on academy. Did well there, and then somehow ended up in first team. Yeah, somehow happened.
It's a funny one because we got asked to watch you. Somebody said to me, "Come and have a look at this lad." I'm trying to think who it was.
It was Corey, wasn't it? It was Corey.
Yeah, it was Corey. Said you need to see this lad, and we went down, and you had some gears, but you were raw.
Yeah.
You were very raw, and
so everyone says.
Yeah. Which they call it footy smart.
Yeah.
But I was thinking by your background when we met you, you'd obviously not had that. Some lads have been playing since the 5-year-old.
I've been playing since I was young, but I never really thought about the actual tactics of the game. I just got the ball and ran. So,
did you?
Yeah.
And then I think one of the first things we did when we saw you opened up and made a break, and I was like, wow, you did it very natural, a bit like I used to think of Bish. Yours is a different running action, but it's like when you glide and you look like you've. And then within 2 years, look, we're still pinching ourselves in a way because it was like crazy, wasn't it? You suddenly people, and then your finishes are all over, social media. There seemed to be a Lewis Murphy finish every week, didn't there?
Yeah, crazy. Couldn't believe it.
How is hard, is it hard to go from where you did to, how did you feel last 18 months? Has it just been like a...
It just like a blur. I can't even remember half of it. It just happened so quick, and because I was playing every week, I was just thinking about the next game, and then a couple of days after, maybe a day after the game, I'd look back at it and think as if I did that, and then next thing you know, next game's come up, and I got to do what I got to do. So.
Did you? I've just noticed there. Wait a minute, it's very clever of you there. England Rugby League, did you?
I didn't even play.
They got the old. How did you feel when that happened?
Yeah, I felt good. I couldn't believe when it happened as well, but obviously, unfortunately, I just got injured end of season, didn't I? But not meant to be. Yeah,
and give us a little bit. I know your family. I know how close you are to Mark and how much you thought of him, especially when I first met you.
Yeah.
Mash at this, mash at that, mash at that. I don't want to say how's he doing this year because he's obviously they've had a shocker, haven't they? But big part of your career.
Yeah, massive part of my career. I say, Mash is really good with the rugby side of things, but I think one of his main strengths is personally with the players. And he's had I can't give him enough praise, to be honest.
Right,
how good he's been for my career. It's a big deal. Yeah.
James is we think James is Mash's agent.
Yeah, I know, he loves him, doesn't he?
We have a bit of banter with that one, but he is. And you know what? Him and Fordy are very... We talked about this actually on the show on Monday, and I don't even know what to say, because they've gone into this environment this year, and I'm going to be honest, I've said it from the start, I don't think the recruiting how it's happened has been, and I don't know whether they expected. They're both a very confident pre-season.
Yeah.
I went to the Leeds Rhinos Boxing Day match to beat Leeds, and you're like, they could be geniuses,
Yeah.
But you didn't realise the pressure they were under because the 1 to 3, the bookmaker had them odds on to go down.
Yeah.
And I kept saying to him, listen, are you bringing anybody else in? Michael and the board, and are you bringing up people in? And they didn't seem a lot of I think it's one of the toughest tasks I've ever seen. And Willie, whether you love Willie and Franny, whether you didn't, that's different. But they didn't. Looking back now, they didn't do a bad job. You know what I'm saying? You look back and you go there, and then these two, young lads at first. Fordy's obviously been involved in it for 5 or 6 years with York, and Mash has been involved in youth. But it's such a big ask in it, and I feel so sorry. I went to the Cass game, and I just looked, and you can feel the pressure. You can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it building.
Yeah. How have you been, obviously after your injury, you've been around the club? Yeah,
I've been around the club, always around the boys, but you can feel a bit of tension, but with our squad and our players, I still think we can. I don't get how we're not winning, to be honest.
That's great.
I know, in video and stuff, we still say we've got to compete every game. I think we should be competing every game. Before the season, as you say, I thought we were going to be contending for playoffs and that, so it's going
to be a shock. About it's weird that because I was thinking the other day when I don't do social media thing now, but RJ's always ramming it, and it's like the ones who believe that were going to happen, and now, even 5, 6, 7, 8 games in, if they don't win a victory next 4 or 5 weeks, it's going to be tough because that gap's 4 points with Cass and Hull. And I said this at the start of the season, Sam will tell you, I said they have to drag somebody into this fight. Literally going to pull rope down and drag somebody.
Yeah.
I reckon first 2 results that Hull and Cass are looking for its wake.
Yeah,
both been like that, thinking they've been done because we're playing bad.
Yeah.
But these are playing worse than us.
We can't even really look at them at the moment because we need to just get a win on board.
Yeah.
We just need to get a win on board because if we don't get a win and they start winning, the gap's just going to get bigger, innit? Yeah, so...
But Wakey's been a big part of your life. It's been, you can't thank him enough.
No, I can't thank him enough.
Yours is a good one though, because a lot of players, I use you a little bit on players who don't get picked for Origin, don't get picked for this, don't get picked for service area in the day, and they don't this. And I said, well, neither did Lewis Murphy, neither did Mark Calderwood, neither did... The list is endless, to be honest. The players who have come late into it and absolutely, made a massive impact. I think we did list the other day, there are probably 20, 30 players who actually have made it Super League and above, who didn't have that, what you said, not clicked into gear, you just playing rugby because you enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it,
James said you were a very good footballer. Is there any truth in it?
Nah, he's lying. No, I was not a good footballer. I was all right, but I don't know. I don't reckon I've ever been a footballer, no. My feet are too quick for me, I don't know what I'm doing with ball.
And a quick one on you personally, Corey used to say, Lou lives like a basketball player.
Got just chilling out all the time.
Yes. Yeah, he said everything's around his rugby and everything's around his...
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that...
Yeah, I don't really do much for me. I just chill out and play on Xbox and stuff and just wait for training. Just sleep and wait for training.
Yeah, I never actually asked Corey, but he used to say, oh yeah, Lou's like a basketball player. He lives that lifestyle. He understands that. Have you found it frustrating with injury?
Not
or are you
yet.
doing the same thing?
Nah, I'm just doing the same thing because I'm at home, Mark, so it's quite comfy for me. But it's just at training, seeing all balls, boys running out and stuff like that. It's not as bad yet, but I know it's going to get tough soon. When
do you start, and when does it start, the real, because I know you've got a schedule, haven't you? You've got all your schedule already.
Yeah, well, I'm doing all my range of, trying to get my range back in my knee and that stuff. It's painful right now, but yeah, we'll just take every stage how it is.
And yours is a bit different, though, because you've always been a little bit different from the way you've always had a sprint coach. I think you're going to tell people about him, because James will kill us if we don't know.
Yeah, I have Jonas Dodo as a separate sprint coach because the type of player I am. I think that's a big aspect in my game. So yeah, I try to he's one of the best in the world for that. So yeah, I'm going to try him to help me out with my recovery as well. And
how often just to get young players, and I always say this, it's not what you do at the club, it's what you do away from the club which will make you the player. And to get lads sometimes, I always just say, a lot of coaches, just look in car park and they say, last to come and first to go is out of our club.
Yeah.
And lads never realise it, and I go, please tell me you're not zipping out and you won't believe how many times they do it.
Yeah.
The last in, the first to leave. And they always say, well, what do they do when they leave? I go, probably go Nando's off for a coffee.
Just chill out.
So what I'm saying is, though, you've always been somebody who's done a lot of the right things. Your rehab outside of rugby is very good. You've always done your extras outside of the club, haven't you?
Yeah, if it was something you can improve on, why are you not doing it? You know what I mean? So.
And you travelled to where? Because you did.
Loughborough.
That's great.
Yeah, I stayed in Loughborough for a couple of days and get my extras in. Yeah.
And how long have you done that for?
Since I've started being like a professional first team, yeah. So not too long, but now I know it's serious and I don't want to get to where I want to get to.
Well, that's long enough. That's amazing, honestly, because we get players who'll say, I need to work on this, and I say, when do you work on it? And they go, and I go, you just answer your own question, because we use this to tennis. So my lad went to America to play tennis. It was shit. He were all right. He's not here, we can say anything about it. But the improvement he made, individual coaching was scary. Like, you could have a group session. I used to watch him and think, God, he's made so much. And then all of a sudden, you'd have 2 or 3 personals, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, it's a different level.
We built the court here to do that. That's what we said the dream is. I can't believe we don't do it. And it's amazing, because I would say there's about 2% of rugby league players in England do extras outside of the rugby.
I reckon. Might be, outside of rugby, maybe after training they might do some extra.
Yeah, no, after training. Do you know, like individually go and make it and do something away? And I think it's so important that they do it. And the better players seem to be, the better trainers. I'm not being funny. There actually is some pattern to it. And it's very hard to tell young lads to concentrate now and give up some things what you did, what you're doing. And right, let's move on. So we get a phone call, myself, and we talk, and we've been telling everyone how good you are. And suddenly we get a connection with Sydney Roosters. And this is how people understand this. When it's Australia, you can talk to clubs 12 months before. I wish our game, to protect it, and I'm saying this as take my agent head off for you, I'm taking this as a fan of our. It should all be the same. It should all be 12 months. Because it's unfair how it's like the compensation rule that we've just been talking about. We kill our own game. We should be 12 months everywhere. You shouldn't have to try and get an adult a contract from me first. It's like we're all scrambling in 4 months, but the clubs seem to want to make it hard for you to move, which I think's horrendous. And I think that needs to be looked at, and challenging it again should all be 12 months, again, like the compensation rule. There's no compensation for you to go to Sydney Roosters because you're out of contract. But there'd be compensation if you went to the UK. How's that normal? How is that normal? And we've now got 40, 50 cases of this happening, and people are saying, how come they're all going? I said, well, first thing, get rid of compensation rule. And the word is, the Australians, the reason they wouldn't sign into our association was because they said, you don't rule it. Our governing body doesn't want to agree to that. So we can come in and take a player. Do you know what I mean? And then that's the way it is. So we get the call. We feel there's interest. We go into talks. I think, am I right in saying we were in talks a little bit with Wakefield, and we're in talks? Yeah. And like most young men, and I'm going to be really honest with you, so I want you to be as honest as we can, because I'm trying to say is how exciting is it when you get that phone call, and because we're going to try and help our comp to get big and get more cap, but what's it like when somebody says, you fancy, a connection with Sydney Roosters? And
it's just a dream, really. Like, especially such a prestigious club like Sydney Roosters. It's just crazy. I couldn't believe when you rang me. I didn't believe you at first. I was like, no way. And then it just all escalated, didn't it, and just carried on going.
Crazy, and we wanted to talk to Mark to let him know, didn't we, that there were. We tried to do everything we could to be as right with everybody, but I suppose a young lad in our game, you're getting nasty with one of the biggest clubs in the world who have a history of English players. Trent Robinson's coached in Super League, so you have got to pinch yourself in a way. I mean, we were laughing the other day. I think they've got the wingers they've got already. I mean,
I know.
the challenge is enormous.
Yeah,
Let's
got
honest,
good competition.
And then somebody said, we'll not mention it. They might have signed it. We're like, this is going to be some gig. But I think with you, and the journey with you is, I think it's the journey with you. I don't think you're one of them who goes over and says, I want to be playing this. And I think you think that, but I think you'll improve.
Yeah.
As a person, you're probably going to improve you're definitely going to improve as a player because some of the things that they've said already.
Yeah.
It's different. It's definitely. It's like going up another level into extreme and. How exciting is going to Roosters or also Australia? Is it? Have you thought about the Bombay with speedos on?
I have thought about it because when you're younger, people always say Australia is like the dreamland and stuff like that. So I've got nothing to lose. I've literally got nothing to lose. So yeah, I'll try out.
And it's over there. We've got I think it's 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, and everything's been so exciting from their end about you as well. They love it. They know all about you. I think to be fair to him, Daniel Anderson and we were all right. Daniel, he had a bit of an accident and whatever happened, and I think we were very much big thanks to Daniel.
Big thanks to Daniel.
So Paramount wanted, he made me laugh one day, and he said, my son's been watching Lewis. Every time he watches him finish, he goes, Dad, whatever you do, get him signed up. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was every time, and Daniel said, he just doesn't shut up about him, and so big thanks to Daniel Anderson's laugh. Did you watch the NRL before?
Yeah, I started to get into it probably like 2 years ago because I didn't really watch rugby as much as I should have done. But now I watch it like every game. I try to get to watch it because obviously it's early in the mornings, isn't it? So sometimes training, but I follow.
I think we'll say I'm not up at that time.
But no, I follow the comp, yeah.
And again, 12, we're trying to pretend it's a hard one this because it's splitting the comp. Yeah. Saying if we lose all our top young talent, Super League, and no one can blame me. I know somebody broke the news actually. A reporter broke the news, and it went everywhere. And we were talking, weren't we? And I said, how has it been perceived? And every single professional come out and they're like, how can you blame him? And supporters go, and they go, no. If any young player gets offered this at the moment, of an opportunity, the way our game's at the moment, somebody thinks, I know. I'll say something like this, and this is definitely not a dig at anybody. I like Wakefield. I've got a lot of time for him, but I think if the people understood how much money yous are on, and at times if the club's met a right offer for you, at certain times, this certainly won't be happening this early. I think if you'd have been offered, you know what I'm saying? I think sometimes we've got to be honest. If somebody said to me, what would happen? I said, well, the club should offer him more money. And clubs should look at it and say, if we secure him for 4 years and we're willing to offer that type of money, because our coaches who've been with him for 2 years are confident that this kid is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to happen. And then, because I spoke to some older players about this the other day, Rugby League has a tier. You earning in our country, your earning potential doesn't really peak till 30. Well, my Joe was mad and said, Dad, NBA, the young ones get the money unless you're LeBron. But all the middle ones don't get it. But the young ones who are getting drafted get the big money. Yeah. And I said, we've got to start that. We shouldn't have to wait till you're 30 to earn good money. Yeah. It's absolutely, it's barbaric. And if people knew on a wage structure of 38 players and the age, I guarantee anybody, I'll take any bets, the top 20 players are older ones. Yeah, they will. Yeah, the young ones can be on less than 15, 20 grand playing rugby. And you're horrified, but you're like, because fans make comments, and I'm very passionate, and I'm like, how dare you? Yeah. Do you know what these lads are on? And then you're so I think it's a massive thing for our game that when they do that, I've done some deals recently with some young players, and the clubs are starting to suss it, and say, right, let's offer them proper money. Yeah. So them young men, that dream's going to be alive, playing NRL, because at the moment that competition is red hot.
Yeah, it's just next level.
But as a young player, if you've got that money coming in, you can have, we've laughed about, tell a young player to eat right. I said, they can't afford it. We're in a bar. You know what I mean? Where does all that... I don't think people realise that. A lot of the parents fund. You know what I mean, don't they?
Yeah, I get what
they'll say, don't bother with board and that, because I'm looking after you, and you're thinking...
Yeah, actually, it's like that,
yeah. Then they're watching somebody upside down Mid-air. You know what I mean? Scoring. And then people go, oh, I've had people say to me, my mates who don't follow rugby, they go, mate, what's he on, like, $1 million? What do you mean? That's full turnover at a club, that's got. And honestly, they watch it. Danny Maguire in his pom, probably one of the best players of all time. Dan the man. And you take Danny out somewhere and the fans would be like, is that Danny Maguire? We went to Night Box at Twickenham and we're sat, me and Danny, sat in the box. There's about 20 Americans who were big eye up in Nike. Yeah. And one of them said, hey, I'm not in the accent because I'm useless, but he's like, God, we're watching England, New Zealand. And he said, Dan Carter said, it's on £1 million. I'm doing an American accent. He then goes, Johnny Wilkinson. And then he went, Danny Maguire. And he said, Danny, where do you play? And he goes, oh, Leeds Rhinos, England. And he goes, hey man, you know, and he must have mentioned money. And Danny's gone, something like, yeah, I'm on 70 grand. He goes, what, per month, per week? He's like, no, that's me year. Yeah. And the shock and horror on their faces are absolutely like, you've got to be kidding. And I said, no, that's our average wages, 65,000. That's, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to probably stick up for you in a way that I don't want people, not stick up for you because you don't need that, but like say, it's not always for money. We're not going there for money. We're going there for the other stuff. Yeah. But I don't think our game helps itself. I think they need to be a lot better than that, and we'll put that out there. That's from me. I can say, people say, well, you've done it. I say, yeah, but you do it because the opportunity is so good. Yeah. But also, people can understand what's behind that. Yeah. And sometimes it's lack of opportunity because that's not, do you know what I mean? You don't just wake up one day and go, oh yeah, this and that. So how do you wish it had finished at Wakey?
A full
saving them 60 yard upside down.
Yeah, just a full season. Just to prove to everyone, like, you know, I do.
Love
it's not
club.
Just and it's just not a one season, and that's it. You're never going to hear from me again. You know what I mean? That's because I knew people would be thinking that. Because I would be thinking that if I saw some kid just have a good season, we're thinking, how can he back it up? So I was just trying to back it up, but done my ACL now, honestly. So.
Do you think, Lou? Do you think one day? I'm not going to say it because I might throw it in. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
It isn't it? It's weird. It's weird how it's all. We listen. We want Wakey to do brilliant. We want. I get scared sometimes because you're thinking, got 3 bottom clubs, 1. They're all in Yorkshire. So you've got a whole Cass and Wakey are right in it, and they've both been a massive thing of our game, haven't they? You know, where were your amateur club?
Mine was in Newsham Panthers. So
which is?
Huddersfield.
Huddersfield?
Yeah, I'm from Huddersfield, that's Newsham.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
So you played there, and till what age?
Till about 14, 15, and then I went to Underbank, so another club, Underbank Rangers in Newsham. No, Underbank Rangers in Home Firth. So I went there for like another 2 years, and then I just saw the Wakefield College thing online. That's the only reason I went there. Well, my mum actually saw it online and she said, why don't you try this out? So.
Did it say rugby on it?
Yeah, it said rugby. It was
genius.
It was a sports science course. Obviously, I wasn't too bold about that. I was just bold about the rugby. So yeah, I advertised the rugby with like a picture of like Wakefield players and stuff like that. So that's why I went.
That is so amazing because I've been trying to be convinced lately that not old school academies and then the college thing works.
Yeah.
I'm probably more old school. So I'm like, well, let them get in full time and and I think, listen, I want the cleverest of kids. I left at 15, so I didn't have my background will get me out of here as quick as you can. I don't want to ever see a textbook again. I don't want to see a pen. You know what I mean? I want to be among it and hustling and getting among it and love to start work, but it's actually worked. Proven that it's worked, isn't it?
It's proven. There's been a couple of players who've come through that system as well.
Has there?
Yeah.
Do you think if the game did that, if the game said that all these colleges now will play rugby league in this competition, and if the game put it out there and said, please, could you, if you fancy having a rugby league, come to our college, this is the course so you can play rugby league? Yeah,
well, I think a couple of them are starting to do that now. Like
Cass are doing it, aren't they?
Yeah, Cass are doing it. Yeah. Halifax do it. Barrow Furnace even do it.
Are they?
Yeah, they're quite good as well in college rugby.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And Newcastle have won it a few times. So then if you're good, you then can go to the academy of that club.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I should have done more on that. I'm going to get told off now as I say it, because I was going to say you should have known that. and within, so this has happened, within 5 years you're on your way to...
Not even, 5 years, yeah.
You've come from walking through college doors.
Yeah, literally walking through college doors.
Wait till, honestly, this is just... I bet, that is... See, that again, I'm not saying pisses me off, but we need to be promoting that, don't we?
Yeah.
Why are we not putting that everywhere? Why are we not putting down that we've got this system that could work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's another option, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just a good story for people like got to my age when you're like 16, 17, you see people in your club going to scholarship, you think, oh, it's probably enough of me now. I'm just gonna be playing amateur rugby. But you still got another chance, still another door can open.
And we talk about being late developers. I mean, the list is endless. If you put the list now of the best young players against the best young players at 10 and then say how many of them are the best, you'd think Morgan Smithies at 10 were ripping heads off, in a nice way. You can just see Morgan in ruck at 10 and just knowing how to play rugby, and we've got hundreds. But I wonder how many want in that position who've done, who could dream about doing the other way, isn't there? That's another route to it.
Yeah.
So, when do you go?
November time, yeah. Can't wait.
I thought I was in stream about picking you off playing.
Imagine.
Yeah. I keep saying to Joe's always asking me about being an agent and what's the thing, and I said, well, I've always said I've done a few Australians and said, I'm passionate about our game, passionate about about the developing the talent, but I definitely fancy going round Sydney for a couple of days. Just I'm coming for your debut. I'm going to make a thing of coming for your debut, and they keep saying they've never seen Show Me in Australia. Well, they'll get a chance to.
You'll love it.
So have we got a message before we finish about people to thank from Wakefield? Is anybody you've missed out, or you feel like Michael, the club, and everything about it? You've got a lot of people at that club, the physios, the conditioners, everybody who's been there.
Yeah, definitely.
Give the chance to.
Yeah, all the conditioners like Ash, just everyone there. Like they've all been nice to me, knowing didn't really know too much about rugby. They all helped me along. Because even some college kids you might look down on them because you train with the academy as well. So there's college kids and the academy.
Wow.
But they still give them the chance and the time of the day and put the work into them, and they've all done that for me. So I appreciate it.
Appreciate them all.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I can say for the rest of us, Lou, everyone will be rooting for you. Dom Young's setting up a lights on. He's showing the way. So hopefully you've got somebody who you can look at and go, wow, look what he's done.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was weird because somebody asked me this and they said, about the young players, will they make it over there and what attributes? Well, I think Dom's a very good, because historically, Adrian Morley went over at 24, 25, established England international, Gazelle established international, all the ones who made a massive impact. I think Dom, Sam Burgess obviously younger, he led but Dom's with more, Dom's doing a lot for our game, and he's leading the way. He's showing the Australians
exposure,
that can happen. And this game's not bad over here, and that they're doing good things in it.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely good for like the Australians recognising how good our game actually is. Yeah,
and a big message to Sydney Roosters and the fans who's arriving in November.
Yeah.
Can't wait to meet everybody at the club. I know you've talked to quite a few now. They're regular. They're already clicking into it. But we think you've got an exciting talent and a good kid. He's a good lad anyway. He'll do all the right things to make himself. He won't be like one of the 80s player. First thing they do for English players when they picked him up, he's so very good. They said pub. Honestly, that they reckon that. But this Australian coach, he goes, every player who came over. First, they said, what? Pub on way back. I think Ellery Hanley, the famous, the king, first one who said, let's go and have a bit of fitness. But he didn't say where pub, but I bet you can't wait, and hopefully fans get to see you and you become great for them.
Yeah.
And then, for Super League, I'll speak for Super League. Could be coming back one day.
Yeah, one day, never know.
Top man.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
You.
No worries.